All right, everyone, we'll start in about in 1 minute. So if any of your friends are still dialing in, tell them there's a little bit more time, and we'll be most happy to have them with us this afternoon with our special guest speakers. All right, okay, it's now 3 p.m. So welcome to TechUp's final 2023 webinar, right? And as we wrap up the International TechXpert League, we are very thrilled to invite the STEM community today. I see a lot of familiar faces. Thank you again for being here this afternoon. And we are going to delve into another crucial topic in today's ever-evolving tech landscape. And the title is Character Development, the Missing Piece in AI Education. And today we have a special treat for you as we have Faiza and Sunita here as our guest speakers. They are co-founders of Face the Future Today, and they'll be speaking to us on this topic today. A little bit about Faiza. She's an educator who has been deeply involved in not only teaching, but also curating curriculum in creative thinking and critical thinking skills in the last 20 years. Sunita herself has a long-standing background in strategic research and decision-making in the MNC space. And together, they, as co-founders of Face the Future Today, aim to help young people to activate the human skills that they need through fun and interactive experiences to thrive in a rapidly changing world. On this note, I will let them share with you about this very exciting topic on character development and why it is the missing piece in AI education. So Faiza and Sunita, over to you. Thank you.
Thanks, Sophia.
Thanks, Sophia. Thank you so much for that lovely introduction. Hello, everybody. We are really thrilled to be having the opportunity to talk to you all today. Hope you've had a great few days of discussions and learning. So quick story on how Faiza, who's called Fuzzy,
Yes.
Okay, Fuzzy, as she prefers to be called, how we got started with Face the Future and Cracker Jack. Our brand is called Cracker Jack. So I was working in the US 4 or 5 years back and was seeing a lot of kids, a lot of both in terms of college kids and school kids and friends and so on, as well as interns, for instance, that and fresh hires that we had hired and who had just joined us, and found that they look great on paper in terms of the academic qualifications, but lacked a lot of what we now call human skills, which is things that make us uniquely human, and which is what we feel is lacking and differentiates us from AI and from robots and machines, which are, we're going to be talking about those skills, things like problem solving and human curiosity and so on. So when I talked to Fuzzy, we started talking about what do we do about it, and so that's how Face the Future was born. And we in fact we're just coming off working with a 4-day event with secondary and high school kids in Singapore. We just finished that. So really happy to be here and happy to be talking about this for the next few minutes.
So I think Sunita missed the key component in our origin story, which I shall fill in the gap for her. So at a conference that Sunita was in back in San Francisco pre-pandemic, in another world entirely, she made a statement, right? Give a young person a letter, constructive criticism, and expect a letter of resignation within 2 weeks. And that's actually the trigger point of everything that we started today. Why is it that the technical competencies are getting better and better? Some of the other competencies are getting better and better, but the trade-off seems to be the ability to deal with life. Yeah, and that's pretty much the origin story of Face the Future. Actually, how can we help young people deal with life? Sorry, just okay. So basically, we live in a world that's constantly changing. We live in a world in which young people today, and deservedly so, have so many anxieties. Now, I could name a million, right? Climate change is one of them. We have no idea what the nature of our natural resources are going to be in the next 10 to 15 years. Will we have enough clean water for all of us to drink? And without clean water, there is no life. Who knows when the next big pandemic is going to come and it could be just around the corner, fingers crossed. It's not, but we don't know. And those are just the kind of dystopian scenarios that I can imagine right now and name. There might be all sorts that we can't even possibly begin to imagine that might make, life to be as we know it very different. But one of the ones that I think everybody's very anxious about is a world in which technology and AI become much more prevalent and much more sentient than it is today. I never had to worry about whether I would have a job when I left university. The nature of the job, maybe, whether it was good enough for something I wanted to do or matched my passions and skill, sure. But I never had to worry that an entire different species would be the one taking over my job. And I think that's fair to say today. That is what AI and technology is. It's a competing species. And young people today look at the jobs that maybe their parents and grandparents did are now completely replaced by technology and AI. And this isn't just the kind of work that we used to think, oh, let robot and technology take over the jobs we don't want, as long as we keep the jobs we want, right? The cooler jobs, the more creative ones. That's not true. AI is taking over the cooler jobs and the more creative ones as well. So there's a huge anxiety. What's my value in the world, right? The world is changing, and it's changing at a fast rate and a rate that we cannot imagine or predict.
But what's interesting is human nature hasn't changed that much. Kids still forget their homework. They might, the way they submit their homework might change. And this is 2014, where we were talking. We are now 10 years after that, and there might be yet other ways in which kids have to provide their homework, but they still have to do their homework, and teachers are still faced with those kinds of issues.
Yeah.
But sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah. But more importantly, education hasn't changed. The classroom still looks largely like what it did, 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. Teachers largely, by and large, still use kind of a broadcast method. There's a one-to-many kind of teaching approach. Bloom's taxonomy, which was developed back in, the 50s, 1950s, is still in place. So it might have been modified marginally, but to a large extent, it is still what it was. So the way we disseminate content may have changed. We use a lot more technology, the slides rather than blackboards and so on. But the what we teach is largely remained the same as what it was in previous years. So it's still very much content based. And unfortunately, or whatever, colleges and even people while hiring are still using exam results, and those are still kind of the key indicators of a person's success in life, or student success so far. Even global exams like the PISA that the OECD sponsors and runs still is very much focused on traditional subjects. So we still live in a world where education is very much content based, and that content is there in plentiful on the web for any student to access, any student to get through AI. We are all familiar with ChatGPT, and in the way it analyzes data and information and serves it to us, leaving aside all the other issues of bias and hallucination and things like that. But by and large, it gives you very, very good level of information and knowledge. So education hasn't really changed, and we really need to look at what it means for us in the future. We have to rethink the role, especially of the teacher, and that's really, really critical for us to think about as we go, and especially for this group as they enter the teaching world.
Let's think of it this way. Back many, many decades ago, when I was graduating from university in the classroom, what gave human beings value was the knowledge that they had, because knowledge was difficult to come by. And because knowledge was difficult to come by, it was stored away in encyclopedias and libraries, not accessible, right? He who was most knowledgeable was most valuable. However, if we keep to that system or that ethos of thinking, then we are not the most valuable. Definitely, Wikipedia, Google, and ChatGPT have surpassed us. So what is valuable has changed. It's no longer who is most knowledgeable, but it is rather who is most able to have those human skills that they need to be able to thrive in this changing world. Yes. This is a line that I use that we've been using that resonates a lot. Yeah. If robots are getting better at being robots and machines are getting better at being machines, then we human beings, we need to get better at being humans. And that's fundamentally what the role of the educator should be about in terms of what we help our kids become. It's no longer about teaching them knowledge so that they will be more knowledgeable. It's about giving them the tools and skills and you know the opportunities and experiences to develop those human skills so they can get better at being human.
So the focus is not on competing with robots or with AI. It's about how we leverage those to enhance human capabilities. So that's really the focus. So this is just a very quick scan of thought leadership that has happened in the last 5-10 years across OECD, World Economic Forum, and so on. And I think you may be familiar with most of these sources that started to talk about 10 years back, started to talk about what was originally called 21st century skills by the World Economic Forum. We're hearing various other terms now. We hear human skills, which we like to use and like to believe we coined. Yeah. But there's also, I think we're starting to hear the term durable skills, because these are skills that are going to last into the future, irrespective of where AI goes and where robots happen, 15, 20, 50, 100 years, human skills are still going to be required, and they're still critical. We are also hearing the term transversal skills, which means,
I like that.
Yeah, we like that term. They are not siloed skills like math or science or whatever, but they work across different categories.
Yep. Yeah, so those are what the thought leaders said, and we decided we would listen to them. But I started talking, so I was an educator for 25 years, and I was one of those educators where kids would go off to university, but would stay in touch with me. So I started talking to a whole bunch of kids from the ages of 14 to 30 years old. This was in the first year of the pandemic, and while everybody around the world was stuck at home anyway, I had the added burden of being on bed rest because I just had a bit of a surgery. So for me, lockdown didn't make a difference because I would have been on my own lockdown anyway. But I started speaking to a whole bunch of kids who I was currently teaching, who I taught in years past. And I started throwing them these 21st century skills. I used words like leadership, critical thinking. And what I discovered is they all heard of them. They know these words, they're just like, terms that the adults in their lives, mainly their teachers, just throw out, and say, oh, you have to be this, you have to have good communication skills, you have to have good leadership skills. But I don't think the kids had any understanding of what it meant. It meant nothing to them. If you ask them what leadership meant, and I'm not kidding, if you ask a group of 10 to 20 kids, I'd have a good 4 or 5 kids who will bring up Hitler as an example of a good leader. They're not saying he's a good guy, but why not? He's a good leader, right? And then ask them why. What makes him a good leader? Or someone who is able to make other people do what they say. And then they got me thinking, so that's what they think leadership is. Whereas for me, it's like, that's power. And power is the opposite of leadership. Because if you have power, then you don't need to have good leadership skills. People have no choice but to listen to you. Because if they don't, they're going to be thrown in jail or worse, still shot, depending on where in the world you're living in. But a good leader is someone who inspires and empowers people to do things, even if they have no power over them. And then the other thing we started thinking about is collaboration, with, oh yes, we work together for a common goal. I'm like, if the whole world had a common goal, we'd all be living in peace and harmony and be happy to be. The problem is, what if you don't have a common goal? What if you have different cultural values? What if you have different agendas and needs? What if you have different working styles that don't match, and yet you have to work together? That's when collaboration becomes important, not when you're all happily working together towards a common goal.
Right.
That's when it's easy. And I could say the same with all 10 of them. And then the next question to me is, but why do I have it? I don't need to have good leadership skills. I have no interest in going into politics. I don't need to have good communication skills. I'm not interested in going into the media or becoming a news reader. I don't need to have good creativity because I'm not going to become an artist. So they didn't see it as being relevant to them or having any impact or meaning in their lives. So through my discussion with them, we've come up with these five, I call them various things, pillars, steps, anything you wanted, and they are kind of at different heights, and I'll explain why for a reason. But basically, and the reason the colors are gradient is for a reason as well, and explain it. But our five pillars are basically the ability to problem solve, to interact with others, to understand your world and in all its diversity and complexity and differences, to be resilient and to have impact. And I think this is easier for young people to grasp because I have to problem solve if I'm a politician who's changing the world's whatever, right? Whether it's poverty or climate change, I need to problem solve. But I need to problem solve with all I am is a homemaker. By the way, I shouldn't have said all I am because I think homemakers do a really tough job. But even if I'm a homemaker and the only context in which I'm working in is my own immediate family, but regardless of how big or how small it is, problem solving is equally important. And it's the same throughout for all five pillars. The level of importance it's not only for one specific instance, it's for anywhere. And the reason we have the different levels is, I think in our interaction with kids, we did a whole bunch of psychometric tests, aptitude tests, talked to them, got a sense of what they did. The general idea is ability to problem solve that they have, or they understand, or they're given opportunities to practice in various contexts in schools. They might not be experts at it, but at least they have a sense of it and they know they have opportunities to do it. Then we move on to the next one, interacting with others, they find slightly more difficult. This is what I found interesting. I think we talked to people who are my peers 20 or 30 years ago, who are teenagers 20 or 30 years ago. Those two would have swapped. Interacting with others is the easiest, problem solving is the next step. But I think as we move into a digital generation where people spend more time on screens, interacting with others has become slightly more difficult. And then the ability to understand life in its complexity, its diversity, the whole world, right? Then resilience, and the one they feel the most unempowered in, the one they feel that they have zero opportunity to explore is the ability to have impact. And that is not because of any malevolence or ill intent of the adults in their lives. Actually, it's the adults in their lives thinking they're doing them a favor. I always say one of the biggest disservice educators, parents, or any kind adult does to the kids in their charge is to protect them. I don't want you to deal with the problems I dealt with, so let me protect you. That's my instinct. Let me make sure you don't deal with the problems that I had to deal with. But when you do that, you're doing them a great disservice because they are now unable, they have no ability to have any initiative or leadership because all they know, if something happens, there has to be an adult in my life who will fix the problem for me, who will deal with that situation for me, who will talk with the people that need to be talking to for me. And then eventually they'll reach a situation where those adults no longer exist for whatever reason, and they just don't have the skill set to do it themselves. So they feel no confidence at all in their ability to have the impact. So these are the five pillars we create. The colors are gradient because they all bleed into each other. It's impossible to silo them. So ignore the deep black lines, but rather focus on the gradient colors. You can't silo them. The same problem that requires impact to solve also requires critical thinking and creativity to solve, for example.
I'll just tell you a quick story about
Okay.
Fuzzy. And so the 4-day event that I mentioned earlier, It's completely run by kids, by grade 11. So
Grade
these
11
are what, like 16, 17-year-old kids that we work with for 6, 7 months and train them and all of that. But Fuzzy's told them, if you have a problem, once I empower you, don't come to me. And she really literally lives it, because I was there for 4 days with her and the kids, and several times the kids come tentatively, should we ask Miss Fuzzy or not? And then they ask her, and she says, what have I told you? And then they go away and they go solve it themselves. So she really does live.
And they do a good job. I was very proud of them.
Yeah, and interestingly, they might come up with solutions different from what we would have come up, and maybe as good or better than what we had thought of. So
The trick is not to have any expectations. So
Yeah.
eventually the event became as they had envisioned it rather than as I had envisioned it.
right. Yeah.
So, okay.
All right. So why do we need these skills, and why is it so critical for us to ensure that the young people have it during their school and higher, during the higher education and all of that, preferably before they head to the job market? It definitely increases employability, because, like we started off with the story in the beginning of young people who join companies and are not able to take the pressures of perhaps working with people from different cultures, or the stresses of being told that, hey, your work isn't good enough, or have you considered these 8 other things? And they go back because all their lives they've been getting A's, and they're straight A students, and the work requires a very different type of mindset and solution from what you did at school or college. So there's a whole host of benefits of these, from increasing employability. There are research studies that have shown that kids and adults who are better at these skills also perform better academically. They also perform better in their jobs. They do better as managers and leaders in their organizations. So this long lasting impact of these skills on the students that we interact with. And I think most importantly, it increases happiness. Again, there are research studies that show that these having these skills, ability to solve problems, and have a purpose in life, and have impact on in your environment, all enhances well-being, and makes our society a much happier one and more confident one. And of course, there's social responsibility, relationships, all of that. So whole host of reasons why these skills are critical for us to start earlier. A lot of us are taught these things when we join the corporate world, and when you reach kind of late entrant to middle management, you pretty much go through all of this. But why wait till that long? And we've lost 10, 15, 20 years of ability to get better and better at it when you're taught it younger.
Absolutely. Yep. So I think in general, in everybody we've spoken to, from educators to school leaders to students to parents to politicians to people in the corporate world, I don't think we have found a single human being who said, I don't think young people need to develop or master these human skills. Then the question becomes, so why aren't we doing more about it in education? What is that barrier? What's the block? If everybody agrees, then why not do something about it? In fact, we talk about our origin story, and it started actually with a very interesting challenge that Sunita posed to me. I was the only educator she knew at that time from the corporate world, and it was a challenge. Why isn't education doing something about this? And I mean, it was something I thought about as an educator. And the truth is, you guys will go into schools and learn this. Those of you who've been in school will know it is what goes on in school. Much more than people who've been out of the classroom for a long time, I think, appreciate and understand.
Very true.
That the average teacher is ridiculously overworked. In the average school, we talk about when in the year is a good time for us to run our events in school. And what I told you guys, there is no good time. There is no free week or day in a school calendar. I've run school calendars. It gets filled to the brim within the very first week of the school term. So there is no downtime in the year, and holidays, nobody's there. So, school calendars are full, and it's a huge thing to ask education to do without state support. It's a huge thing to ask educators in schools to do without a great mindset shift in parents who have this expectation of, I want my kids to score well, everything else doesn't matter. It's too much. And if we want schools to do it, everything else has to conflate. Universities have to say admission is more than just your academic grades. Jobs, employers has to say you get the job not based on the university you go to. So kids who say, hey, I'm great at human skills and don't need to go to university can still get a good job without feeling, they're second class. Parents have to recognize that other things matter as well. So there's a whole bunch of things that needs to happen before we can pass the buck on to education. But the other big problem is this. We are talking about a higher paradigm shift in education because human skills are not taught the same way that content is taught. So our entire pedagogy has to change. Sunita mentioned Bloom's. Bloom's, I think, has outstayed his welcome, and it's time to say goodbye to him. And if you guys were introduced to Bloom in Teachers College and were told it's the most important thing in the classroom, I challenge that. I say, there's a movie called Dead Poets Society, which is way before your time, but I will say rip out that page in your textbook because the only place it belongs in is a dustbin. Bloom's time is long done. And the next is there's no way to assess and evaluate it. Now, I'm not exam crazy, and I don't think a child's worth should be dependent on how they score in an exam. So I'm not suggesting we need an examination, but because we're educators, we need an assessment. Not because we can therefore decide which kids are valuable or not, but we need an assessment as educators because we need to know how to help them. We need to know where their gaps are, and then through those gaps, we need to know what extra help or mentoring or facilitation they need. And no existing assessment format that we know that everything that we found does that. Because you can't write an essay about it. I could write a brilliant essay about a girl who became a great leader. That doesn't mean I can apply leadership skills, or I can write, a story about someone who overcame all obstacles and showed amazing resilience. That doesn't mean I can do it. So therefore, the assessment and evaluation has got nothing to do with what I can produce in a written exam. And that's, I think, where schools struggle, where education struggles. What is my pedagogy and what is my method of evaluation? So we'll get to that. We do have an answer.
So this is one of the things that we developed fairly early in our conversation between Fuzzy and me. So we said, as we looked at the Blooms and we realized, oh my God, this doesn't apply at all to these skills. We said, okay, what is the journey that we want to take a student through, or anybody, not just a student, needs to go through? And it's a spiral. It's something that needs to keep getting evaluated at a self level. So first of all, one needs awareness of these skills, needs to have self-reflection, because I need to understand the skills in its nuances, and I need to know how it feels for me and which parts of the skills apply to me. For instance, if you say leadership requires huge rah-rah and being able to motivate 10,000 people in a big rally and being able to scream, that's not me. So I need a different style of leadership that will sit better with what I'm comfortable with. I should be able to see it in other people. So I should be able to observe it and see who it is that is doing it well, and then emulate it. Why not? Fake it till you make it. So stand in front of a mirror, practice communication if you need to, or think about critical thinking skills and how to bring it into my own problem solving and so on. So continuously practicing it till it becomes a habit is really kind of the journey that we think these skills require. So it's a little bit different from how content is taught and our expectation for how it gets imbibed within people. In terms of the evaluation, Fuzzy talked about the need for an evaluation method. We have talked to various people across the world, including think tanks and thought leaders. We have not come across another method that actually quantifies something that is, because one of the things that we keep hearing is, oh, these are subjective, whether somebody is a good communicator or not, is creative or not, is subjective. Yes, the quality of what they do can be subjective if one person is doing it. But if a group of people are evaluating you, then it can be made into a quantitative, and that we do think is very, very important. Fuzzy keeps saying this, that a lot of people keep saying, a lot of parents say this, in fact, saying, doesn't matter what other people think about you. You just have to feel good about yourself. That's not true. We are humans and we are not islands. We do work in groups. Well, if we don't, then we're not going to be very successful either now or in the future. So, what other people think about you is actually important. So, our rating system is based on a multi-rater system, where we do not just a broad understanding of peer perception and then kind of averages, but we also take into account how well and how broadly you engage and how many people you leave impressions on. So those are also important. Again, and a common example we use, easy to impress one person, not so easy to impress 100 people. So if you are able to impress 100 people, then that should be given some weightage as well. And then finally, the ability to understand. I remember when I talked about the journey, we said ability to see the skill in somebody else so that you can emulate it and you know whether this person is doing well in terms of their leadership or communication or whatever skill it is that we're talking about. Ability to see that skill in others and also yourself. Very often we tend to underrate ourselves, so some people overrate themselves. Yeah, you see both are not good. I mean, we often think that underrating ourselves is a good thing, but it's not. Humility, so-called, especially Asians, right? We do this very often. So the ability to understand the skill and observe it and recognize it in other people as well as yourself. So this is kind of broadly our pedagogy as well as our evaluation methodology. All of it is based on research that we have done.
So our goal has always been to bring both. It's very complex, and it's something that we've been developing over the last 4 or 5 years, using that methodology and using that evaluation. Our goal, really, if you look at us, and you might think we're naive, these two much older women, but our goal is to change education and through that change the world. And we want to bring in those methodologies into as many schools around the world as we can. We have a comprehensive 3-year curriculum. We have all sorts of assessment tools. But again, we go back to our recognition that schools are very risk averse. And for change to happen in school requires a lot of understanding of the education system and a lot of assuaging some anxieties that parents might have. And I don't blame schools for saying, well, I can't start something new if, some big boss or some, minister of education or some politician hasn't told them to do it. Or if, there's a general collective pressure from parents to say, hey, do something different. It is hard, and they want to know that it works and it has value. So, while the goal is to bring to schools, and we do have some schools who are a little bit less bound by bureaucracy and less bound by fear that have been working with us, we've always known that before we can bring it to schools, we have to prove that it works. So for the last, actually, we started way back in 2018. So for the last 5 years, we created an event. We always wanted to be a global event. We always wanted it to be something where we had as many young people as possible from different parts of the world come and interact with each other, where we give them a whole bunch of things to do. I'll run through what they are later, but the sole purpose of the event was for them to activate and be evaluated on the human skills based on the methodology that Smita shared earlier. And the goal was we run it enough on our own, show the schools to send their kids that they work, and then eventually get the schools to take it on. Unfortunately, a lovely thing called COVID hit us in 2020. So after we ran our first event in 2019, we had to slow down. But we started in 2022. In fact, we were one of the first in Southeast Asia that we know of that did a major event post-pandemic. In Singapore, we were definitely one of the few, and I think both a lot of our Indonesian counterparts. So that's one thing we're proud of, that we were part of reopening Southeast Asia for young people anyway. A lot of the kids who came to us in 2022 had not seen another young person in the last year who wasn't in their immediate circle. And we just completed our second event. In the 4D event, we take them through, all sorts of stuff. We expose them to corporate setting, volunteering and helping, doing good for the world, being entrepreneurs. We talk to them about social circles and helping their friends. And then what if you're an activist or a politician and you have a larger responsibility as well? And how do you use those skills there? And we got them to interact with AI. And I know ChatGPT, sure, but I can't claim to be someone who knows how to use AI to do stuff. Besides ChatGPT and Bing Images, I don't think I've used any other tool. But I told these kids, use whatever tool you can. I'm not teaching you what the tools are, how to use it. I'm just giving you the task to do. They taught me so much. They taught me how to code games. They taught me how to design graphics, things that I never thought. And I told them, now it's your turn to give me a workshop. We had a board games tournament where we gave them a setting where they could activate those skills in a fun, competitive kind of environment. We give trophies to the winners and stuff. Our main event, though, was we created a live action simulation for them of a dystopia in which robots had taken over. And in the beginning of this simulation, they lived in a world where robots would steal whatever limited resources they had. So even though they had so little, that little was constantly being confiscated by our robots, which were actually volunteers dressed as robots. The robots were taking them away to labor camps, and the robots were planting false information on them. So they really lived in one of the most oppressive worlds we can imagine, where technology is more powerful than humans. And I just gave them one task: survive in this world, but your ultimate goal is to thrive. Look for the resources around you, and the resources could be anything. It could be knowledge, it could be the people around you, it could be physical resources, it could be IP, it could be anything, and change the world. And by the end of 4 hours, they had transformed that world into a space where not only were they getting the robots to get resources for them, but they were healthy, natural resources that they could then create sustainable food sources from. They were living lives full of leisure and physical health by doing, exercise and designing games. And most importantly, they found meaning and purpose by engaging in philosophical discussions with the robots. Yeah, and we just ended that event, and we're still coming down from that high, actually.
Yeah, so we'll pretty much end there, just with the final thought that we just shared with the kids and the participants as well, which is that we're not averse to AI by any means. In fact, we use technology of any kind. The intent is, how do we utilize technology and AI, which is the current buzzword, of course, so to enhance what humans can do. So don't lose the human essence. And to us, that would be potentially, in the way at least some people are looking at it, the missing puzzle or missing piece of the puzzle in AI. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thanks so much, Faizal and Sunita. I think that was a really engaging a topic, and I think you guys have shared a lot. I think, given the context of what educators are being taught to deliver in the classroom setting, and what you have, seen through your experience over the years and what you're trying to change. So I think a lot of people here in the audience are also from an educator's background. And I think my first question, if I may, is that, I think we can't reverse what, a lot of us have been taught as educators, right? But and I think we also can't discount, the lessons and learnings from, say, for example, Bloom's taxonomy, right? But I think we can agree that we do need to change, or maybe to some extent adapt to what's coming, right? And how AI is changing how we live and how we're going to teach in future. So maybe, if something for the audience to take back today, within these constraints and what they've been taught all this while, is there some practical tips
Sure.
or solutions they can bring back to their classroom that they can implement immediately?
Yes, I don't think we can change the world overnight, and we can't teach education overnight.
We would like to try, of
We
course, but
still have
yes.
to go into the classrooms and teach whatever school we go to has tasked us to teach. So there are many ways in which the educators that we work with, we help them through this system, or at least the way I think of it. Feel free to tell me if you have other thoughts. But one of the things is, even though the subjects that we teach are siloed, if we think of them in that, right, they're of their own little, the way we teach it doesn't have to be. So there are all sorts of ways we can bring in through technology, but not necessarily through anything that's game-based or gamified or interactive or project-based, right? We don't have to change what we teach, especially if we're still living in a world in which board exams and exam results are important. So we don't change what we teach, but what we can change is how we teach. And if we change the way we teach in such a way that it's interactive and it's game-based and it's gamified, and the kids in the way that they're engaging the classroom are activating communication or critical thinking or persistence, then we're killing two birds with one stone. And until we reach a point where it's like, hey, I don't have to teach content because Wikipedia is going to do it. Let's make that slow transition by doing it within the classroom, the content classrooms that we're still teaching. One of the things I do, by the way, just as an example, and give it to you all for free for resilience as an English teacher, is I'll give them a couple of questions to do, and I'll ask them to, in their groups, to write down what they think the solutions are. And as I'm walking around and looking, I'll identify the groups that have got it right, especially if it's an objective answer. And I'll say things like, that looks problematic. Are you sure? And I know it's right. And then they start losing confidence, and they're like, and it takes one or two who will do the, no, I don't care what Fuzzy says. I believe in what I'm doing. But most will so that's kind of the lesson to the process. It's like, hey, resilience, sometimes you have to stand by what you believe. You have to get a lot of different tactics along the way that you can do both. You can teach both content and help them develop their character. To answer the second half of the question with specific AI and technology, how can you help them? Now, all of you belong to a very different generation than me, and the first thing I want to say is I cannot claim and will not claim I am not I'm not part of the digital generation. I was born in a world where there was no internet. Forget no internet. When I was born in the world, there was no computer. This was all something I learned from my mid-teens to the age I am now. So I'm not a digital native. I will not pretend that the young people I teach, I'm the one to teach them. I know they need more than me. What I provide is the scaffolding and the framework, so they do it in a way that is responsible. More importantly, they do it in a way that they don't get scammed or they don't get, so that's more important for me, the teaching them how to navigate those additional things that are in their lives rather than teaching them those things itself. They'll figure it out. If you teach them problem solving, then they'll learn how to problem solve, whether it's AI or whatever tomorrow brings. There's a movie on Netflix that just came out. I haven't watched it, but I think it's which the computers just stop working. We keep talking about the dystopia being that the robots take over. What happens if they all stop working tomorrow and none of us know how to fix it? That's as much a possible dystopia as the fact that it will take over us, right? But if you teach them the skills to deal with uncertainty, then whatever it is, they will have the confidence to face it. And it'll be their world. I'm not going to pretend I know what that is. But what I can do is provide them the opportunities to practice these different ways of dealing with uncertainties, obstacles, problems, stuff like that.
Nice. Okay. So I think thanks so much for your response. I'm going to go into some of the questions here from the audience. We have one here from Hizam Tuan. So I'll read out these questions. So he says, in our school, we still utilize Bloom's cognitive taxonomy, and in our research one subject, right, we are now practicing the higher order thinking skills. So in this matter, is Bloom's taxonomy still effective compared, let's say, to your method?
I perhaps should not do a disservice that I Bloom got me through my schooling and my early years as an educator. Bloom's taxonomy, I think, was life-changing to education. And as long as what you're teaching is content, I cannot think of a better methodology than Bloom. So if what you're teaching is content, including higher order thinking skills, then there is no better framework than Bloom's. I think what we were trying to say is we have to move into a world where content is not what we teach, and rather what we become are mentors and facilitators to kids developing transversal human skills. And in that context, Bloom does not have the answer. Exactly. That's where we have to create the new taxonomy. But yes, in schools today, because we're still teaching content, yes, but we still have to use Bloom's. But what we have to do is, as we move into the higher order bits of Bloom, right, which is the creativity beyond the understanding and knowledge, right, as we move into the top tiers, which is the creation, rather not creativity, the creation and application. That's where we bring in human skills, because as they create and as they apply, they have to remember all these different transversal skills or human skills to do it.
All right. So I hope that answers the question. If not, feel free to pop your question into the chat box. Moving on to the next one. Next question is, how can we ensure that the integration of AI in education does not widen the existing digital divide and in fact promotes equitable access for all students?
That's a brilliant question. And we've had that debate actually with a lot of others. You speak to a lot of people who think they have the solution to all the world's problems. And one of the first things they'll say is, technology is going to equalize education. And somebody will ask this exact question, which I think everybody needs to ask, is it will not equalize the world's education, because until everybody in the world has access to technology, the only thing it will do is actually widen the divide. So I 100% agree with it. I think the integration of AI in education, actually, I think the integration of AI in education in today's world will widen the gap. I think we have a lot more to do. I do think it is the solution we want to move towards. But I think before we start thinking about doing away with the kind of more in-person teacher, human being kind of situation we have now, we have to make sure that the whole world is connected and the whole world has technology. And we're too busy skipping a few steps because of our excitement with AI and technology without first fixing this problem. I think it's a huge gap. And I think we need to work with powers that be to make sure that that is eliminated before we fully move education into an AI and technological space. That's how we ensure it. We ensure that everyone has it. I think mobile devices more and more. I think even in the most rural, in the most most underprivileged societies around the world, I think mobile devices are still accessible. So maybe instead of coming up with complex edtech and AI tools in which you need a laptop to use, let's start with simple tools that you need slow connectivity. You don't need some high-powered server or a fast-moving internet speed. Something simple and slow. Start there. So even if I'm in my my very rural setting somewhere where the internet connection is spotty and the phone has like 8 MB memory or something, I still can. And then as that technology increases and as people's capacity increases, then we move. Rather than, I've seen so many edtech tools that kids are supposed to use that require such so much computer space or so much high tech speed. It's not the answer. I think people who are creating these tools need to go into a classroom, need to go into schools, and need to go into schools all over the world, not only in their maybe more privileged settings. And that's my answer to that question.
All right, nice. So I think, guys, we unfortunately have to wrap up this webinar because we're running on a schedule for the closing ceremony. We'd like to thank Faiza and Sunita, Fuzzy and Sunita, for a great sharing session. I think the audience have a lot of questions. We will whoever is interested to carry on this conversation, if you'd like to have their contact details, I think it's there on their slide. And if not, you can look them up on their website. They have their contact details there. Now, before we wrap up today's webinar, I'd like to take your time to share with everyone #TechUpToday and a simple challenge to do. Just to it's something for you to reinforce from your learnings that Fuzzy and Sunita have shared today on the importance of character building in the AI age. So for our challenge, which I'll share in the chat box as well, is share a photo of our webinar today and talk about either your experience, insights, or even your opinion on this topic, right? And tag us on LinkedIn at GoTechUp, or you can even tag myself or Aina Rosni, just to get this conversation going. And of course, don't forget to tag our speakers as well, right? So I think just something for you to carry forward in your lives and something that you can implement and start doing as part of your daily life so that we can get this movement going on character development. So thank you, everyone. I think.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sophia and Aini, for this lovely opportunity to speak to all these new young teachers. I'm trying to remember my life when I was still in teachers training college. Perfect timing. One of my university mates just sent me a photograph just before this webinar of myself when I was in my first teaching job. So yeah, enjoy what's ahead. Teaching is one of the best jobs in the world because the kids are amazing. So enjoy that.
Yeah, and good luck.
And good luck.
Good luck to everybody.
Yeah,
Good luck to
Thank
you,
you so
Sophia and I.
much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye,
Thank
everybody.
you,
Happy
everyone. Thanks,
holidays.
Wazi. Thanks, Sunita.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, all right. Thank you, everyone. So I think moving on to the next agenda for our session today, Amir, if I can pass it on to you to take this forward.
All right, sure. Thank you, Sophia. Good morning. Sorry, my bad. It's evening. Good evening, everyone. I hope that you are doing well today. I hope that you are having a great day as well. And thank you for being here this afternoon with us. Now, before we start the event, I would like to ask everyone to turn on your camera, use the backdrop provided by the organizer, and lastly, enter your full name according to the format shown in the chat box. And while we'll wait, we'll just wait for a few more people to come by in. And yes, meanwhile, you can turn on your camera and change your name according to the format in the chat box. Thank you very much.
Hai Cynthia. Hai Puan Sina.
Hai, Assalamualaikum semua.
Salam. Hi Leah Nam. Very nice to meet you. Hi Govindran.
Hi, good evening to everyone.
We only have like about 15 minutes to interact, so whoever that switch on your camera will be able to do this interaction.
Hi, Krista. On to answer your question on how to change your backdrop, you may press on in your Zoom. If you're on Zoom, you can press on video and choose virtual background. And you can download the background picture from our, if you scroll up, there'll be a link to download our backdrop. And from there, you can download it and change it when you press video and choose virtual background on your Zoom. Also, just to remind everyone, if you do have a stable internet, I would like to ask everyone that has a stable internet to turn on your camera. And if you do use the backdrop provided by the organizer, I can see that Muhammad Riz asking, is it okay if I don't turn on my camera as he is currently outside running some errands? Then yes, I think that would be okay. But for others that are safely in their warm, cozy homes, please do turn on your camera and use the background that is provided. If you scroll up, there is a download link up there where you can use it for as your virtual background before we start the event, which is in 10 minutes. Good evening, everyone. For those that just came by, welcome to the International TechXpert League 2023 closing ceremony and top 3 winner announcement. If you have just arrived, please do turn on your camera. Please do turn on your camera at the same time as well. Use the backdrop provided by the organizer, as you can see in the chat box. And lastly, enter your full name according to the format shown in the chat box as well. And I hope that everyone here is having a very good day. At the same time as well, for those that just came by, do tell, how are you? How is your Saturday so far? And you may type in the chat box. I hope that everyone is having a very good Saturday so far. Hi, good evening, Rufert. Okay, so to answer a question on how to change your name, so yes, I believe that Sophia has already answered your question. The naming format only applies to the participants who signed up for the International TechXpert League competition. I hope that helps you out. Thank you. And for the others that just came by, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I hope that you are having a very good day. Firstly, if you have not turned on your camera, I would like to ask for your assistance to turn on your camera and use the backdrop provided by the organizer in the chat box. And lastly, enter if you are a participant for the International TechXpert League competition, please do enter your full name according to the format shown in the chat box above. You may find the backdrop. If you're wondering where is the backdrop, you can go to our chat box, scroll up, and there will be a Google Drive link for you to download the backdrop. And it is provided there as well on the format of the full name that is needed for you in this Zoom session. Thank you very much. And we will begin in 3 minutes. Oh, it's okay, Rupert. To answer your question, you don't actually need a green screen. As long your webcam is able to, as long you have a webcam, the Zoom software will sort it out itself. Though it may not be perfectly sorted, but there is a high chance that it will be nice. And you're welcome. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so far we have 67 participants in this Zoom call. For those that just came by, good evening. I hope that you are doing fine. Again, if you are here, please do turn on your camera and use the virtual background. Use the backdrop that is provided by the organizer in the chat box and enter your full name as well, according to the format shown in the chat box. For those that just came by, for those that already has done all of those, I hope that you're having a great day. Please do. You can share in the chat box about how was your Saturday so far. Have you all had lunch and others? Yes. So for those that already has turned on their camera, please do tell me how is your Saturday so far. And I hope that you are having a very good day as well. I do have my lunch. I cooked up some fried pasta. So yes. Besides that, I hope that all of you are doing well as well. Oh, we are starting in 1 more minute. We are starting in 1 more minute. All right, people. All right. So now that the VIPs are in, I would like to remind everyone again to turn on your camera, as we are going to take a photograph to commemorate the event. Right. So please do turn on your camera for a while so we can take a photograph together. Make sure that you look good in front of the camera. So this will be a very historical event. So I would like to ask for your assistance to turn on your camera. Okay, I can see a few more people that has not turned on their camera yet. So again, for the people that are in this event, please do turn on your camera as we are going to take a photo. All right, so technical team, if you would be kind enough, please do take a screenshot of us in this meeting. So.
Okay. One. All right. Here. And it's one. All right.
All right, I think that is all. Thank you very much, technical team. Hi, I can see a lot of people turning on their cameras already. That is very nice. Okay, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed judges, educators, and the future TechXpert leaders of Southeast Asia, welcome to this special moment, the highlight of the International TechXpert League competition. There's a buzz in the air filled with success, the joy of learning together, and the endless possibilities within each of you. On behalf of IPG Campus Pendidikan Teknik, Simeo Rexam, and Go Tech Up, I'm thrilled to welcome you all to the International TechXpert League Competition 2023. Woo! We can give also a good clap of hands. Right. On behalf of IPG Campus Pendidikan Teknik, okay, my bad. Today, we celebrate over 240 bright minds from IPG, local universities, and private institutions across the region. This competition went beyond coding and circuits. It sparked curiosity, encouraged collaboration, and expanded their exposure to robotics and computational thinking. These TechXperts have achieved a lot. They took their first step in robotics, showing that passion drives learning, not just experience or knowledge. They broke through the limits of imagination, experiencing firsthand how accessible and fun robotics can be. Today isn't just about winners. It's a tribute to each participant inspiring each other, building enduring connections, and demonstrating Southeast Asia's excellence in STEM. Let these awards symbolize your hard work and guide your future. Carry them proudly as a testament to education's transformative power and our community's incredible talent. So, go forth, TechXpert. Let's build an innovative Southeast Asia together where the TechXpert spirit knows no bounds. Let's kick this off with some words from our VIPs. Please welcome our first VIP, Dr. Syed Yusuf Syed Hussein, the Acting Center Director of Simeo Rexam, to share his thoughts.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dr. Hanani binti Harun Rashid,
Director, IPG Campus Pendidikan Teknik, Ms. Aina Rosli, CEO, Co-founder, TechUp, Ms. Rashiah binti Haji Osman, Deputy Director, Administration, Senior Rexham, beloved participant, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and very good morning. Welcome to the closing ceremony of International TechXpert League. On behalf of Senior Rexham, I would like to thank Dr. Hanani. We are more than grateful for having you have today. I would also like to a moment to express my sincere gratitude to Ms. Aina Rosli and team for the invaluable support you have consistently extended to us, which has been instrumental in our success and growth. Respected audience, as well all you, TechUp is a leading education solution provider whose mission is to make teaching and learning science, technology, engineering, mathematics, STEM fun and effective across Southeast Asia, which corresponding to Senior Rexham vision. Our commitment is to infuse the vibrant spirit of fun into very core of STEM education. We desire to spark an enthusiasm in your mind, to ignite a passion of exploration and discovery. We firmly believe that when learning is enjoyable, it becomes more effective. And in the field of STEM, effectiveness is not just about memorizing formula. It's about applying knowledge to solve real-world problems. Beloved participants, on behalf of the Center, I would like to thank all of you for taking part in International TechXpert League. I hope that you will be able to implement the knowledge you gain throughout your learning journey. Congratulations for completing International TechXpert League, and we wish you all the very best in your future undertakings. Hope to see you again in the next event or programs. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Syed Yusuf Syed Hussain, for your inspiring and insightful speech on our commitment to infuse the vibrant spirit of fun into very core of STEM education. Your words have left a very lasting impression on us all. Now, let's invite our next VIP to present her speech. The Director of IPG Campus Pendidikan Teknik, Dr. Hanani Harun Rasid.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and salam sejahtera. Alhamdulillah, let us express our these blessings. We can gather this afternoon for the closing ceremony of the International TechXpert League Competition 2023. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished participants, honored guests, STEM educators, and passionate tech enthusiasts from the Asian countries. It is with immense pleasure and a profound sense of accomplishment that we draw the curtains on the International TechXpert League Competition 2023. This virtual competition, orchestrated by the Institute of Teacher Education Technical Campus Malaysia in collaboration with Go Tech Up and Simeo Rexem stands as a shining example of the transformative power of collaboration in fostering STEM interests and competencies among both teacher students and university participants, particularly in the dynamic realm of robotics. Ladies and gentlemen, the incorporation of robots into education, often known as educational robotics, emerges as a powerful tool for enhancing the learning experience across diverse educational levels. Robot-based activities act as catalysts for cultivating critical thinking and problem-solving skills. The intricate processes involved in designing, building, and programming robots demand the application of analytical skills, guiding students to approach challenges with both systematic rigor and creative ingenuity. Moreover, a multitude of robot-based activities are purposefully designed to foster collaborative learning. Through collective efforts, students actively participate in the design, programming, and operation of robots, nurturing essential attributes such as teamwork, communication skills, and the ability to collaborate on intricate projects. The TechXpert competition, with its focus on robotics, has provided a dynamic platform for reinforcing knowledge and skills in this rapidly advancing field. The experiences gained and lessons learned during this competition will undoubtedly act as catalysts for future innovations and endeavors. Looking forward, we express our sincere hope to continue this virtual event. The success of this year's competition stands as a testament to the potential inherent in the intersection of education and technology. As we aspire to soar new heights with Teknik Terbang Tinggi, we eagerly anticipate future editions of the TechXpert League, encompassing not only aspiring teachers and university students, but also educators already in service. The aspiration is to create a space where experienced educators, alongside aspiring teachers and university students, can engage in a shared pursuit of knowledge and excellence. This inclusivity is key to fostering a community of educators who are not just well-versed in technology, but are also committed to shaping the future of education. Ladies and gentlemen, in closing, I extend my gratitude to all participants for your dedication, enthusiasm, and tireless efforts throughout this competition. Your commitment to advancing robotics in education is commendable, and your contributions are greatly appreciated. A special appreciation goes to our valued partners, Go Tech Up and Simeo Rexem. Your commitment to the vision of enhancing teacher education through technology has been the cornerstone of this competition's success. Sekian, wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you.
Thank you for the speech, Dr. Hanani Harunasit. It was truly inspiring in terms of when you said success of today's event stands as a testament in the intersection of education and technology. Now, please welcome, we would like to invite our last VIP to the stage. Please welcome the CEO and co-founder of TechUp Group, Puan Aina Rosli, to give her speech.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. Distinguished guests, partners, and most importantly, our talented experts. I am Aina Rosli, the CEO of TechXpert Group, and I am incredibly honored to be here today. It is with immense pride and excitement that I stand before you today at the closing ceremony of the International TechXpert League. The International TechXpert League is a true testament to the power of technology education and its potential to shape the future. Your achievements mark the first steps towards cultivating confidence in coding and robotics, a crucial foundation for the future. To our winners, congratulations. Your hard work, dedication, and talent have truly shined through. You have earned this recognition and deserve every bit of praise. And as we navigate this path of progress, we are reminded that education is the bedrock of our collective journey into the future. And that's what we need education for, to master character development and human skills. If machines are getting better at being machines, and if robots are getting better at being robots, then we humans need to start getting better at being humans. It's a call to action, a reminder that our unique strengths lie in the qualities that machines can't replicate: empathy, creativity, critical thinking, and the ability to connect on a deeply human level. But we cannot achieve this alone. We need partnerships, collaboration, and shared commitment to invest in the future of education. With that, I'd like to thank IPG-KPT, Siam Moraksam, and partners as well as experts in collaborating and making the International TechXpert League a success. It's a testament to the power of such collaboration by bringing together students, educators, and industry leaders from around Southeast Asia. We have created a platform for problem solvers, innovators, and to exchange ideas. We celebrate today not just individual achievements, but also the collective spirit of collaboration and innovation that this league fosters. We celebrate the friendships forged and the knowledge shared and the experiences gained. Technology is transforming the world around us. It is reshaping industries, creating new opportunities, and impacting our lives in ways we never imagined. But the future belongs to those who are equipped with the skills and knowledge to thrive in this digital age. And that's precisely what the International TechXpert League is all about. It is about empowering young minds to become the architects of tomorrow. So as you embark on your future journey, never lose sight of your passion for technology. Keep learning, keep exploring, keep pushing the boundaries. The world needs our creativity, your problem-solving skills, and your innovative spirit. Remember, use your talent and knowledge to build a better world, a world where technology serves humanity and empowers us all. The International TechXpert League is not just a competition, it is a community of learners, innovators, and future leaders. So I encourage all of you to stay connected with us, support each other, and continue to learn and grow together. On behalf of TechXpert Group, I would like to express our sincere gratitude to the organizers, co-organizers, judges, and everyone who made this event possible. And most importantly, thank you to the participants. You are the true stars of this evening, and congratulations to those who managed to get the top score for International TechXpert League 2023. We are all excited to witness the incredible things that you will achieve. Thank you and congratulations once again. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Puan Aina. Puan Aina echoed today's earlier webinar topic on how we need to be a better human and further cultivate character development in education. Thank you to our esteemed VIPs for the speeches. Now, the International TechXpert League Competition 2023 aims to boost STEM interest and skills in educators and students across Southeast Asia. But rather than just talk about it, let's see the highlights for ourselves.
Hi, good evening, everyone.
Why robotics? People always look at robotics as robotics education, but actually robotics is a topic that integrates science, technology, engineering, and maths very, very well.
I think every approach that you want to do is always a baby step. Software that commonly used could be Scratch, could be Go TechUp, or anything, something like that.
Let me introduce you to Ghazali, an enthusiastic senior teacher from Canberra Secondary School.
Oh, thank you so much, Aisha. That was a wonderful introduction. I should increase your bonus for this year, okay? I'll buy you more batteries. Okay, so this is the future. This is not a real person, by the way. Don't think this is a real person, okay? This is fake. This is not real. This person does not exist, okay? How can we improve our assessments using AI? Because they're looking at the end product, the student outcomes. So how can ChatGPT improve the assessments of students?
And for educator, we want to do a lot more. We want to impact the student as much as we can. We want to see improvement. We get excited by that. So that's the end of the two videos. I would like to invite everyone just to type in your answer here. First video or second video, which one is human? Which one is AI? Okay, just type in the answer for AI. Which one is for AI? Alright, so yeah, the answer to this is both of these video are generated by AI.
Can I be numb to you?
What an amazing video. We hope that this encourages more participation from everyone in the future. Our competition, TechXpert League, is a virtual simulation robotics competition that will be conducted annually. Now, before we reveal our winners for the TechXperts League competition, let's applaud the incredible journey we've shared. This competition wasn't just about winning, it was about pushing boundaries, igniting creativity, and proving that the future of innovation is in the hands of brilliant minds like yourselves. But to keep the excitement going, let's dive into what our top 3 winners will receive. For the champions, they will receive the grand prize of $150, a certificate of achievement, and a GoTechUp hybrid package. For the first runner-up, the participants will receive $75, a certificate of achievement, and a GoTechUp hybrid package. And lastly, for the second runner-up, the participants will receive $50, a certificate of achievement, and a GoTechUp hybrid package. Now remember, every participant deserves a round of applause for their dedication and passion. You've all left your mark on this competition, and we're excited to see what you will achieve next. Now, let's turn up the excitement. The moment we've all been waiting for. The top 3 winners of the International TechXpert League competition 2023. Drum roll, please. The second runner-up goes to Xiao Wen Chiang from IPG Campus Pendidikan Teknik. Congratulations, Xiao Wen Chiang. Congratulations to you. Now, for the first runner-up, it's Nur Najiha binti Muhammad Latif. Let's give a round of applause to her. Congratulations, congratulations. And finally, the champion of the International TechXpert League competition 2023, the individual who has redefined what's possible, who will receive the grand prize of $150, a certificate of achievement, and a GoTechUp hybrid package goes to Amir Hamza bin Aminullah. Scores. Let's give a big round of applause to all of our top 3 winners. They inspired us, challenged us, and proven that the future of innovation is limitless. Congratulations, TechXpert. Congratulations. It's not over yet. We have one more prize to give out. This special award is given out to the institution that has the highest number of participation, and they will receive a free GoTechUp RTech Robo Innovation Kit. And the prize goes to Institut Pendidikan Guru Campus Pendidikan Teknik. Again, congratulations to IPG KPT. We encourage other universities to join in the competition, as we also acknowledge on the high participation. Now, before we move on to the closing speech, we would like to ask the audience to scan the QR code that appeared on the screen, as we would like to take your attendance for certificate purposes and ask for your feedback on this event for future improvements. Ladies and gentlemen, as we wrap up this year's TechXpert League competition, I'm overwhelmed with gratitude. A big thank you to our VIPs and judges for their invaluable contribution and making this event truly, truly special. And another round of applause for our winners. Let this be a stepping stone to even greater heights. For all the fantastic participants who didn't win, do not lose heart. This journey isn't about one moment, but the progress made. Learn from setbacks, grow, and come back stronger next time. Remember, every champion was once a challenger. Let this experience be your fuel for the next attempt. Thank you. And thank you to everyone involved for making this event incredible. Let's carry this energy forward, striving for excellence and supporting each other. Until TechXpert League 2024, keep shining and growing. And thank you for everyone. And for the winners, please raise your hand and wait for a moment as we would like to take a group picture with you. Thank you. All right, tech team, please do take the pictures of the winners, please. And again, congratulations to IPGKPT and thank you everyone for coming by. For the winners of the International TechXpert League competition, please do raise up your hands in the Zoom call as we would like to take a picture to commemorate this very eventful day. Thank you very much. All right. So I think that will be the end of today's event. To everyone that came by to this event, thank you very much for coming by. And please do expect to join the competition again next year and have a very good weekend. Thank you very much and have a very good day.
Thank you, everyone. If you would like to talk to us, you can reach out to us via LinkedIn or you can hang out for a while. We'll be here for a few more minutes.
Congrats, Puan Aini.
Congrats. Congrats to all of us.
And congrats also to
Puan Hanani,
Dr. Hanani.
Dr. Hanani, Puan Haslina.
Congrats to all. It's a good event. Salute.
Yeah. Mr. Govin. Semua
Terima
AJK,
kasih, Dipin.
Sharida, Sakina, Sofia, and all the TechXperts. Yeah.
Ame, good MC.
Ame, good. Kena brush up dia daripada malam tadi.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much,
good
But
Ifaizal.
you really
I
rise
don't
to the...
expect that. You are very good.
I appreciate it.
Beyond
Thank you very much.
expectation.
Dia saja je.
Saja simpan taring
Dia simpan taring. So the expectations semua orang low, lepas tu dia overperform kan.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much,
It's very good,
Ifaizal.
very well done. You
I
play very
appreciate
well
it.
on the intonation, you control the crowd very well.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Mungkin sebab ada professional microphone ni kot. It helps out.
So I think on the video, right, I think we are doing some editing. Nanti we will post it and upload and also share the raw to you. If you have anything yang you want to comment as well, I think this would be a good time on the video so that we can do the mashup so that boleh pakai for Siamore at some punya advertisement.
Yeah. Saya pun nanti nak kan video recorded ni lah kan.
Boleh. Tadi sempat masuk webinar ke? Kita akan masukkan juga yang webinar hari ni. sebagai penutup as an overall event punya summary lah.
Dia bukan
sempat masuk tadi.
it's not a one video yang continue with the closing kan?
Nak dengan closing ke tak nak dengan closing?
Kita separate lah, kita buat
Separate.
webinar satu.
Boleh.
Sedap tu.
So and then AJK punya, just a reminder, our AJK listing just nak send so that we can do a proper closing. Sebab selalunya for TechUp, after we will give about 1 week to 2 weeks just so that kita akan close. Kalau tidak nanti dia macam open ended kan. Kita akan adakan postmortem juga supaya next year will be much better.
So nanti kalau ada postmortem tolong ni.
Kita akan inform.
Dr. Wan dalam kereta, Dr. Wan.
Oh, Dr. Wan. Bahaya nah.
Dr. Wan,
Hati-hati.
unmute. Tak dengar suara Dr. Wan.
Oh, bukan. Dia kelindan. Passenger
okay.
Tak apa. Passenger princess boleh.
Congratulations, IPG Technic and TechUp.
Thank you.
Dr. Wan pergi pesta kah?
Ada. Kak Ipoh.
Oh, Ipoh. Okay.
So the rest of the participants.
TechUp, when are you coming to Wrexham?
Boleh. Dah dapat invitation tu kami akan datang.
We have our new product, Makerspace.